Absolute pardon Robin Hood Carino Padilla, also known as Ruben Padilla. Crime committed. Petitioner was correspondingly charged on December 3, 1992 before the Regional Trial Court RTC of Angeles City with illegal possession of firearms and ammunition under PD 18662 through the following information: that on or about the 26th day of October 1992 in the city of Angeles, Philippines, and within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, the above named accused did then and there willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously have in his possession and under his custody and control 1 M16 Baby Armalite rifle SN-RP 131120 with 4 long and 1 short magazine with ammunition, 1 .357 caliber revolver Smith & Wesson SN-32919 with 6 live ammunition, and 1 .380 Pietro Barretta SN-835723Y with clip and 8 ammunition without having the necessary authority and permit to carry and possess the same, all contrary to law. The lower court then ordered the arrest of petitioner but granted his application during the arraignment of January 20, 1993. A plea of not guilty was entered for petitioner under he refused upon advice of counsel to make any plea. Petitioner waived in the writing his right to be present in any and all stages of the case, judgment of the case, and sentence after trial. Angeles City RTC Judge David Rosette rendered judgment dated April 25, 1994, convicting petitioner of the crime charge and sentenced him to an indeterminate penalty from 17 years, 4 months, and 1 day of reclusion temporal as minimum to 21 years of reclusion perpetua as maximum. Premises: considered the decision of the Court of Appeals sustaining petitioner convicting by the lower court of the crime of simple illegal possession of firearms and ammunition is affirmed except the petitioner is indeterminate penalty is modified to 10 years and 1 day as maximum to 18 years, 8 months, and 1 day as maximum. Reason why qualified absolute pardon. The President granted the pardon upon the recommendation of the Board of Parole, which is under the Department of Justice. President Roa Duterte said, "I just granted pardon in favor of Ruben Padilla kasi yung original pardon niya, hindi sinabi yung full restoration ng political and civil rights. Therefore, he could not travel, he could not get a permit to possess a gun again. I really do not know the dimension of what is meant by the deprivation of political and human rights. But one thing is that you cannot vote, you cannot travel, and therefore he could not be issued a passport," he said. "Basta yung pardon ko is full restoration of his civil and political rights." The President added, "Alam mo, yung crime na yan, walang nasaktan. I mean, if it's a gun, just like the knife, if it's sharp, it's potentially sharp. Ilagay mo lang sa lamesa yan, hindi mo galawin, hindi naman nakakaano yan," he said.
So, good day everyone. I am Risa Jean Pamat. So, today I will discuss Jubito Plameras Jr. So, Jubito Plameras Jr., a former governor and representative of Antique Province in the Philippines, was granted a conditional pardon by President Rodrigo Duterte. So, Lameras had been convicted of graft in 2008. So, the conditional pardon required him to pay the Antique provincial government a sum of 2.65 million for the pardon to take effect. This information was released in an order dated December 8, 2016 by the Office of the President. So, Lameras was first elected governor of Antique in 1984 and stepped down in 1998 to contest a seat of the House of Representatives. He served as the 12th Congress as a member of the Laban ng Makabayang Masang Pilipino, representing the Legislative District of Antique. In 1997, Lameras, as Antique governor, had acquired 5.6 million worth of school supplies on behalf of the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports for use in the province of Antique. CKL Enterprises was permitted to fulfill the order without bidding. Additionally, payment was exchanged prior to the complete delivery of the items, many of which were defective. The Sandigang Bayan rolled on 2 December 2008 that Lameras was to serve a sentence between 6 years and 1 month or 10 years imprisonment. So the final decision was upheld on March 11, 2014. However, Lameras suffered a stroke and paralysis and was subsequently placed under house arrest in April 2, 2015. In 2016, Lameras sought a presidential pardon from Benigno Aquino III, which was not granted. Aquino's successors, Rodrigo Duterte, approved the request in December. Given that Lameras repay the Antique provincial government of 2.65 million. Lameras died at the age of 83 on July 31, 2018 at the Antique Medical Center in San Jose de Buena Vista. So that's all my report.
Good day everyone, my name is Christian Bautista and now I will going to discuss the case of Joseph Estrada. But first, let me know era first. Joseph Estrada is a prominent Filipino politician who has held a various key positions throughout his career. Born on April 19, 1937 in Manila, Philippines. His full name is Joseph Marcelo Ejercito Estrada. Estrada began his political journey as the mayor of San Juan in 1967, showcasing his early commitment to public service. He later climbed the political ladder and became the vice president of the Philippines in 1992. His political career reached its peak when he assumed the presidency in 1998. Joseph Estrada, the former president of the Philippines, faced charge of plunder and corruption. During his presidency, the case revolved around allegations that he amassed wealth illegally during his time in office. The prosecution claimed that Estrada received kickbacks from illegal gambling and received millions of pesos in bribes from tobacco excise taxes. The trial, which began in 2001, resulted in his conviction on September 12, 2007. The Sandigang Bayan, a special anti-graft court in the Philippines, found Estrada guilty of plunder but acquitted him of perjury. A court sentenced him to reclusion perpetua as a life sentence and ordered the forfeiture of assets. In 2007, President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo granted executive clemency to Joseph Estrada, reducing his sentence to a simple reclusion temporal, which made him eligible for pardon. The pardon took effect on October 25, 2007. The justification for the pardon included Estrada's age, health concerns, and the aim of fostering national healing. The decision to pardon Joseph Estrada sparked public debate, with some viewing it as a gesture of reconciliation, while others saw it as a controversial move, giving a severity of the charges. The case remains a significant part of the Philippine political history, reflecting the complexities of dealing with high-profile corruption allegations at the highest level of government.
December 1, 2015 at 12:28 a.m. U.S. Marine Private First Class Joseph Scott Pemberton of New Bedford is escorted into a court of building Olongapo in City, Philippines. Monday, March 2023, 2015, a Philippine court is expected to deliver its verdict in the motion charge case of U.S. Marine from New Bedford accused for murdering a transgender Filipino after discovering her gender when they checked into a hotel. When the official says Jennifer Laude, a Filipino trans woman, was drawn to death by Joseph Scott Pemberton, a lance corporal in the United States Marine Corps in Olongapo, Philippines. Pemberton admitted assaulting Laude and deployed a trans-panic defense in 2015. His charge was downgraded from murder to homicide by the judge in 2015, and he was convicted on December 1, 2015. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte granted an absolute pardon to Pemberton on September 2020. His sentence was 6 to 10 years in prison and reduced from 6 to 12 years in prison. Pardoned in September 2020 by the President Rodrigo Duterte. This was the second reported criminal cases involved in the Philippines and United States Marine in the Philippines under the Philippine-United States Visiting Forces Agreement, or BFA, and the first since the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or the EDCA. The killings spawned protest in the Philippines by the transgender rights groups and the other activists.
Jose Paciano Laurel E. Garcia, born on March 9, 1891 in Tanawan, Batangas, Captain C, General of the Philippines. He was a Filipino politician, lawyer, and judge who served as the President of the Japanese-occupied Second Philippine Republic, a puppet state during World War II, from 1943 to 1945. Since the administration of President Diosdado Macapagal from 1961 to 1965. On September 2, 1945, the Japanese forces formally surrendered to the United States. General Douglas MacArthur ordered Laurel arrested for collaborating with the Japanese. At the age of 55, on July 23, 1946, Laurel, together with Oseas Aquino and his son, Jose III, left Tokyo for Manila. Having been turned over to the Republic of the Philippines 1 month later, he was placed under technical custody at his Pinafrancia house in Paco, Manila, but rather than accepting the given condition, he preferred to be imprisoned at the New Bilibid prison in Muntinlupa, Rizal. He was later provisionally released in September 1946 after posting a 50,000 bail. He was also charged with 132 counts of treason in 1946 and was tried by the People's Court. However, the trial ended prematurely due to the general amnesty granted by the President Manuel Rojas E. 48. Shigenori Kuroda, born on October 25, 1887, in Yanagawa, Fukuoka, Japan. He was a Japanese Lieutenant General of the Japanese Imperial Army and the Japanese Governor-General of the Philippines during World War II. In Kuroda vs. Halamdoni, Shigenori Kuroda, a Lieutenant General of the Japanese Imperial Forces in the Philippines between 1943 and 1944, was tried for war crimes under a complaint identical with a charge filed against General Tomoyoki Yamashita. Kuroda challenged the constitutionality of Executive Order No. 68 and argued that the Philippines were not a signatory to the Hague Convention on Rules and Regulation covering land warfare, and therefore he was charged of crimes not based on law, national and international. The appellant also held that the military commission created under Executive Number 68 had no jurisdiction. The Supreme Court rejected Kuroda's argument, holding that in accordance with the generally accepted principles of international law of the Philippines Day, all those persons, military or civilians, who have been guilty of planning, preparing, or waging a war of aggression and of commission of crimes and offense consequential and incidental thereto in violation of laws and custom of war, of humanity and civilization, are held accountable thereof. The Supreme Court further argued that it did not matter that the Philippines was not a signatory to the convention because the rules and principles embodied were generally accepted and thus form part of the law of the land by virtue of the incorporation clause. Finally, the Supreme Court concluded that the military commission, having been convened by virtue of Executive Order No. 68, has the jurisdiction to try petitioner for acts committed against civilians and prisoners of war during the period covering 1943 to 44 in violation of the Hague and Geneva Conventions. After the surrender of Japan, Kuroda was arrested by American occupation authorities in 1946 and held in Yokohama prison. In October 1947, he was extradited to the Republic of the Philippines during the Manila trial and condemned to life imprisonment as a Class B war criminal due to command responsibility for the action of his troops in the Philippines. For the death of nearly 3,000 American and Filipino civilians, his lawyer at the time was Lieutenant Colonel Jose Lucban. He disguised Kuroda by putting a mole on his face and removing that at the end of the trial to discredit the witnesses. Thrown at a Japanese general, he was pardoned in 1952 by the Philippine President Elpidio Quirino and repatriated to Japan, where he died the same year.